Hi. In a previous video that I did, I talked about the need for the Phoenix Rising Center. And one of the things that I talked about is that maybe it's time for change. And, I always say, I put that question out like as if, maybe I'm thinking maybe it's time for change. No. I know it's time for a change. It's time for a change the way we approach people for healing with the disease of cancer. So the other day, I actually heard this study, or I watched this video on two doctors. So Dr. Stephen Sandiford, he's a cancer surgeon from the Cancer Treatment Centers of America, and Dr. Michael Berry, he's the author of The Forgiveness Project. And the two of them in this interview, we're talking about, it was an interview by CBN News, and you can go on cbn.com and you can actually look this up and I'll give you the titles of what it was called. But these two doctors were being interviewed. And what they did was they interviewed all these people who had a diagnosis of cancer. And what they found was 61% of them had an issue of unforgiveness. So they had bitterness, they had hurts and pasts in their life that they had not let go of, and that they had this link to cancer. So you might be saying, thinking to yourself, yeah, well, big deal. Lots of people have issues that have happened in their past. Lots of people have had issues in their past, but it's how you've dealt with it, or if you haven't dealt with it, or if you still have that resentment and bitterness and anger still within. So this is what happens. So what I want to get to is, this is what I've believed for a long, long time. And in homeopathic medicine, this is one of the links to why I believe, in my personal opinion, that homeopathic medicine works so well, is because it not only deals with the physical issues in somebody's body, but it actually deals with the mental emotional state in somebody's body. And some of the proven homeopathic medicines actually in their mental emotional state have a state of anxiety or conflict and all of that in it. So take for an example, one of the homeopathic medicines called arsenicum. One of the mental and emotional states with it is that a deep-rooted insecurity. And arsenicum is one of the remedies that is actually being looked at to show research at the MD Anderson Cancer Center linked to breast cancer. So with that particular remedy, what happens is, or that issue is, this person is in a constant turmoil and stress. So when a person is in constant turmoil and stress, what happens is cortisol is released in the body and adrenaline. And so what happens when those two chemicals are released in the body, it actually lowers the natural cancer T cells in our body, or the natural cells that help with defensing our immune system and helping us stay, our immune system stay strong. So when our immune system actually goes down, then we're more susceptible to things. You see, I believe that we all have cancer cells in us. And actually you can get a test done, a blood test done for $35. That's called the CEA. And so that actually is a marker. It's not a perfect blood work, but it's kind of like getting your sugar tested or cholesterol tested. You have levels, and you have a medium, and you have a low and a high. So if you use that marker, it can actually give you a guideline where your CEA, your cancer antigen antibody cancer marker is. So what happens is, we all have cancer genes in our body, but it's what triggers them. So I believe, in my personal opinion, that it's usually a trauma. For the greatest amount of cancers, people that get cancer, there's usually a trauma that has happened in their life. So this goes along with the research that they did showing that there was unforgiveness in their lives, and linking emotions to that and what happens with cortisol and adrenaline in their body. So with this being said, they actually, there actually is a book written that is called The Deadly Consequences of Unforgiveness. I believe that's what the book was called. No, it's called, the author, Michael Berry, is actually the author of The Forgiveness Project. And so if you go to cbn.com and look up the website, you can look up the deadly consequences of unforgiveness, as well as you can look up forgiveness. Unforgiveness is classified in medical books as a disease. So if that doesn't give you a clue about emotions in your body, I don't know what else does. But again, unforgiveness is classified in medical books as a disease. I believe the Phoenix Rising Center is so needed because it's not only going to work with the physical aspects of a body, but it's going to work with the mental, emotional state of a body and helping with unforgiveness. Another really great book is a book called Cancer and the Lord's Prayer by Greg Anderson. Now you have to think about the Lord's Prayer. As you go through the Lord's Prayer, Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. That's a big deal. It's right in the Lord's Prayer, talking about unforgiveness. So we all have to deal with this. This is a big issue. And unforgiveness can be the root of many diseases in our body. But here's their scientific study showing 61% of cancer patients actually had unforgiveness in their heart. So I believe the Phoenix Rising Center is very needed to help people with that issue. And if that's you and you're watching this video and you think that could be an issue with you, please go and get help. If you can contact the Phoenix Rising Center by email, which you can contact at founder@Phoenix Rising Center, and center is spelled CENTER.com or .ca, and we'll get back to you. Or contact someone, contact a church, a local church, someone that you can walk through with them about the issues of unforgiveness, because you know what? It really is affecting your health.